What's good, everybody? It's your girl Toya, host of Universal Teas, the People's Podcast, and this episode is called Be Foreal. So first, I gotta tell y'all, every time I come up with these names, this one, I've been hearing the kids say this for a minute. They be like, cause be for real. And I think that in my life right now, I've had to be for real. I've had to be for real about where I am right now. You know what I mean? The things about my current situation and the way that I'm currently doing things, I have to be for real about what it is. And so what that looks like and what that feels like and what that sounds like is to be able to name the truth, be able to name the truth in who you are, being able to name the truth of a situation. And I decided to be nice to y'all today because y'all know usually I take the route of be for real about the ugly things about yourself. And although that is important, I always want us to be for real and be able to acknowledge the difficult things. But if you're anything like me, I realize that in me being honest with myself about how I'm currently living, about the situation that I'm currently in, I neglected what is still good about me. I neglected what is still real about who I am and how I show up in the world and the impact that I can have on people that I am around. And so when I say be for real, I don't only mean be for real about the difficult truths about yourself. It is important that we name and acknowledge them, but you also have to be for real about what you do have. And what I mean about that, we know how to name what is hard. Like I said in the last episode, we know how to name what is hard. We know how to acknowledge what is difficult, what is hard for us. But in that same breath, you have to be able to say, however, but, or so, and name something that's good or positive that you're experiencing as well. And so when I say be for real, you have to say, yes, this situation or my relationship is bad right now. But you also in the same breath have to say, but I know that I'm a great communicator. I know that I'm a great listener. Let me use what is also real about who I am to kind of fix this situation. Yes, I may be in between houses right now, but I'm very resourceful. In that same breath, you have to be able to change the narrative. My church folk, y'all know y'all be saying life and death lies within the power of the tongue. So there's nothing wrong about naming the negative truth. About naming the positive truth. But the issue is when we just try to express gratitude. And I know gratitude is something that is new and present right now. Everybody's talking about you have to have an attitude of gratitude. That is true. But I actually feel like gratitude cannot stand alone. There has to be some truth that exists with gratitude, right? My situation is messed up. However, I'm grateful for this. So when we try to shy away from what is true and we try to shy away from those negative truths and just try to put a blanket over them, that's not how we grow. So yes, I'm always pushing and advocating for you all to name what is true in a negative sense, but you have to know that exists and really know for you. Like, yes, my issue right now is that I don't manage my time well. I'm always late to places. I'm always missing an appointment. I'm always showing up late to friends' dinners and birthday events, but you have to be able to know and acknowledge that before you can move forward. I know people say all the time, the first step to fixing the problem is admitting that you have one. So that's why in this episode, I'm telling you, name the difficult thing. Name the truth that exists for you in your present moment. Name that your financial situation is the best. Name that you have been lazy. Name that this feeling is uncomfortable. Name that my relationship is strained. Name that I am not a great communicator, but also be able to say in this, what is still true about me. Never forget, we all have issues, but we all have things that are unique about us. We all have things that are beautiful about us. For example, just because you are in a bad situation, think about your gifts and your talents. Maybe it's God's way of telling you to pay attention to the good things that he put inside of you. So maybe you need to hone in on your creativity. For instance, the way that I've been doing things now and lately is like, I need to be doing more. But when I really sat down and got still and quiet with myself, and I can't remember the episode where I talked about being able, I think it was called, it was so long ago. It was about being able to be sanctity and solitude. But as I sit with myself, I'm realizing that God is not telling me to go find something different, to do, to invest in. What God is telling me to do right now is to be consistent with the gift that I've given you. Be consistent with the talent that I've given you. Be consistent with what you already have. And I think that is a large part of being for real. What is true is the situation is difficult. What is true that this is strained. What is true is that I'm in the middle. If you watch the last episode or listen to the last episode, the 4 T's is truth, tragedy, transition, and what was the fourth one, y'all? Truth, tragedy, transition, and I can't think of the fourth one, but if you listen to the last episode, those are the 4 things that we're facing. Like, yes, I'm in the middle of my truth showing up for me in a way that I wasn't ready, but how do I combat that? I combat that with the fact that I'm going to operate in that truth, but also name a positive to it. I still am an amazing speaker. I still have great connections to people. I still am able to influence others. I'm still able to do these different skills and talents. Maybe God is telling you to really tap into you. So be for real. And then on the other hand, I do want to think about the dreams and the gifts and the talents, because every time I'm on here, I'm pushing you all to be who you are called to be. To not really listen to the noise, to not try to entertain the crowd, but to fulfill yourself. And so when I think about self-fulfillment, I really think about being able to sit alone and figure out what needs to happen for you. If that means, I've realized that I've been on social media a whole lot. And as much as my mind is telling me, and this is a conversation that I was having not too long ago, as much as my mind is telling me like, oh, this is what you need to do for you, this is what feels good to you, you get the signs and the messages, but I'm scrolling on social media, there's always a new way to do something. There's always a new website, a new niche. Everybody's trying to find their niche. There's a new way to get your target audience. You need to learn the algorithm. But we don't realize that even if we're telling ourselves out loud consciously, like, oh, I'm good, I'm not being influenced by the things that I see, we forget that our subconscious is always on record. You don't turn off your subconscious. So whether you know it or not, you start to adapt. Like they say, you are the people that you're around. What you surround yourself with, what you consume becomes a part of who you are. So you have to be able to cut the noise and find your truth sometimes. Sometimes you can't be for real because you haven't given yourself the opportunity to sit in who you are and sit in what is around you and really listen to your own inner voice. So when we talk about being for real, you really have to get in there with yourself and you really have to figure out what is true for you. Yes? And so when I think also about this, being for real means that you are not coddling yourself. You're not coddling yourself with just the positive. And that's kind of what I was mentioning when I talked about gratitude. So if you know that you want to do something, if you know that you want to grow in a certain way, if you know you want to save more money, if you know you want to be more social, you have to be real with yourself about if you're doing those things, you only get the rewards that you work for. Nothing comes to us without us working for it, and that's a misconception. But a lot of us like to sit and soak and wait for somebody to come and save us. And so we can acknowledge that something is hard. We can acknowledge that we need to change something, but acknowledge yourself enough to say, I want this. I'm complaining about this. This situation I'm in is difficult and it's my fault. You have to be, if you have never in your adult life at this big old age said that something was your fault or ever said that you're wrong or never agreed with somebody who was telling you something to hold you accountable, that is a problem. Because no growth happens if you're not able to name what you've experienced, if you're not able to go through difficulty and learn from it. So when we are talking about who we want to be, like, how can I want to be a billionaire and I can't even manage $1,000? How can I want this high-paying job, this higher position, and I don't even have professional integrity in the position that I have? How can I say that I want to be a wife? How can I say that I want to be an amazing girlfriend, amazing partner, and I'm not showing up as that? I'm not willing to acknowledge the truth that everything isn't always going to go my way. Everything isn't always going to feel good. How can I say that I want to be a better friend and I want to grow, but when my friends tell me something that is not pleasant or that is holding me accountable, I feel like they're no longer my friend because they told me the truth and it didn't feel the best. You know what I mean? And sometimes we have to know that maybe you don't want a real friend. Maybe you just wanted a yes man and some support. Or maybe you just wanted somebody to listen to your issues. But a real friend is going to call you out on your bullshit. You have to be ready for that. If you really want to be a boss, when difficult times arise and you're the one that has to handle it, this is what you ask for. Right? And so when we're talking about being for real, you really got to be for real with you. You really got to be for real about what you need. Like, yes, I may want to go out and be more social and turn up, but you really know that the work you actually need to do is within yourself. How is it that you want to learn yourself? How is it that you want to get more self-aware? And this is the year of self-awareness for Universal Teas, but you can't say no to a turn up. You're saying that you want to lose weight and be healthy, but every time somebody invites you to work out, every time somebody gives you a new meal option, or every time somebody mentions being vegan or being vegetarian or going for a walk, you looking at them sideways. But you still somehow expect people to coddle you in this. Sometimes people are going to get tired of encouraging you. Sometimes people are going to get tired of giving you advice that you don't listen to. And then you want to say that the world is against you. Stop playing the victim, because sometimes it's you. A lot of times it can be you. Okay? So when I say be for real, I mean be for real about what is in front of you. You can't change the situation in front of you until you acknowledge what it is. You really got to dissect that thing. Those feelings that you have within yourself, or you try to say that some of us like to use like isolation, or I'm just being, no, you really just got work to do. And you can't work on you and still be social and be out in the world and be at every turn up, because now you're taking that negativity everywhere that you go. Be for real and sit down. Be for real about who the people are around you. You still calling somebody your best friend because of time, but the circumstance show that. Have they been there for you? Have you been able to be there for them? Because sometimes you're not able to give people what they need. Be for real about who you've been for people. Be for real about who you've been for yourself. Okay? And so I'm going to recap us, and then we're going to go ahead on about our business. So when I say be for real, I don't mean just be for real about the hard truths, because we know those are difficult, right? If you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know that I always talk about handling the hard things first. I always talk about acknowledging what is difficult first. And baby, go listen to all the other episodes where I talk about how to sit with yourself, how to acknowledge what is difficult about you. But when you are trying to grow, growth happens when you acknowledge the positive just as much as the negative. They have to coexist. Duality is a thing. You can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the positive without the negative. And so you have to understand that, yes, things may be negative that are happening, that are going on, but you also have to learn that there's a positive that's right across from it. And you have to tap into that too. And so when you're being for real with yourself, don't get down on yourself. Sometimes, and I know I am if you anything like me, I am overly critical about myself to the point where I sometimes don't even do gratitude. I feel like, and this is just me, I sometimes feel like gratitude is a cop-out for accountability. And I'm on this journey of like self-awareness, self-empowerment, self-accountability. Accountability is really big for me right now. And so if you are on that journey with me of trying to hold yourself accountable and honor what is true, don't forget to name what's true and positive. Because then that's what leads to like depression. When you get overly critical, now you're anxious, now you're worried about everything. It's okay to acknowledge and name what the truth is when it's ugly, and then move on to what is positive. Like, yes, this is what exists, but I also am this. You know what I'm saying? So learn to encourage yourself as well as hold yourself accountable. You got to find that balance between the two. And don't forget that you have the things inside of you to change your situation. Whether this be skills, talents, or connections, or gifts, you have to know and use. And people say this all the time, like God gives you everything you need. He really does. It really is true. You really have to tap into what your gifts and your talents are. And sometimes this is a plot twist. Sometimes those things that you have to tap into are things that you probably forgot that you had, or things that you kind of felt like you were too good to tap into. Like, I don't do that anymore. I'm not that person anymore. But when time calls for it, are you able to turn that back on? You know, how committed are you to what's at the end? Be for real. If you want to get to $1 million, and I know B. Simone did this when she was like on her road to being a millionaire. That girl literally tapped into every skill and talent she had. Like, her goal was $1 million. So she had to be for real about what she needed to do. You're not still going out popping bottles at the club. You're not still spending money on cars, spending money on clothes. You're not doing all that if you're trying to get to where you want to go. This girl sold her car. I know she tapped back into doing hair. There was so many things because the goal was $1 million. The goal was $1 million by any means necessary. Y'all got to turn y'all Malcolm X on, y'all. Any means necessary. And so that's what she had to do. Don't forget about your goals. You know what I mean? When I say be for real, it's not even just a degraded thing or something to make you say, like, be for real. Like, you not really like that. We try to be petty like that when we say somebody ain't being real. But be for real about what you want. Be for real about what you want, and be for real about what you are willing and capable to do to get there. Because we say that we want to do, I've been flirting with like vegetarianism for a minute now. And at one point it was like, I'm going to be a vegetarian, so I'm just not going to buy meat again. I'm going to be cold turkey. Like, girl, be for real. Like, be for real, because you know the minute somebody invites you to a steakhouse, you going. You know what I'm saying? And so acknowledging that and being for real about what you're capable of. Being for real about where you are, but not forgetting the goal. Like, maybe I'm only going to do this on birthdays when friends go in a steakhouse. Or maybe I'm only going to I'm not going to throw out, y'all know when y'all feel like y'all trying to be healthy and y'all throw out all of y'all snacks and all the Oreos. And be for real. Be for real. But instead, what I've realized is that maybe I just will buy less of that when I grocery shop. Like, I'm not about to go and throw out these good groceries, these good chicken legs and thighs that I done just bought. But I know that maybe when I'm in the grocery store, next time I won't buy chicken. You know what I mean? I won't buy this, or I won't have it in my house, and maybe I do just eat it when I'm out on special occasions. You got to be for real about where your capabilities are. Because we try to jump from one thing to the next. Like, girl, you knew good and well you wasn't ready to be nobody's wife. You still trying to be outside. You just see on Instagram everybody trying to get proposed and be caked up and booed up. Baby, you know that ain't true. You know you was an outside type of girl. And that's okay. Live your best outside life, but be for real. Be for real about where you are. Like, yo, I want this $1 billion business. So I'm about to, you know what I'm saying, only affiliate myself with business owners. I'm only about to be in room with business owners. But be for real, because a lot of the people that's going to support your business at the ground are right there with you. I know Issa Rae talked about networking across. We get these big dreams and forget where we started. We get these big dreams and we count out the people that are already around us that are going to support us. Like, maybe you need friends that don't want to be business owners, but support whatever it is that you do. That's your team. You know what I'm saying? You got these dreams of wanting to be a celebrity, wanting to be known, wanting your name out there, wanting to be somebody of status, but you feel like you got to go put yourselves in room with people of status. Because to be honest, be for real, you still a nobody in some of those spaces, and that's okay, right? Networking is important, but don't just shut off what actually exists for you. Because what is right in front of you is going to be the stepping stones for where you want to go. Don't count out your experience. Don't count out your presence. Learn to be present, because that's where it starts. Like, we get so fixated, and maybe, again, I'm just telling my business, but some of us get so fixated on the goal, on the end goal, and we just eliminate what is in front of us. Like, be for real. Yes, you want that, but you haven't done this. Be for real. Like, I know we think success happens overnight, but no. There's no such thing as luck. We know that's when opportunity means preparation. What are you preparing for? Are you preparing for the thing that you want? Are you preparing for the thing? Yes, you may be destined, but you still have to prepare to step into your destiny. Because if you were to get what you're destined for right now and you haven't prepared, is it going to be sustainable? A lot of us want, a lot of people chase fame, but do you want fame or do you want a sustainable career? Do you want sustainable finances? Do you want a sustainable life? Now, if you just chasing that hot little TikTok stardom, do you, boo-boo? But if you really know that you want something sustainable, if you really care about your craft, take your time and be for real about where you are. Like right now I have this. Right now these are my people. Let me tap into what's right in front of me. Be for real. I know if I want, I'm not going calling up Oprah, asking her, like, eventually, yeah, sis, if you watch this, if somebody share Oprah hit my line, happy birthday. It was her birthday yesterday. But what is really true is this, and I've realized that, like, where I am on this journey of like growth and expansion, I'm like, I want to meet this person. I need to be in this room. I'm trying to get in this affiliation. I need to be in this space. But then I realized that I was neglecting the gift of podcasting. I was neglecting Universal Teas, trying to get to something else. So when those opportunities do come up and somebody looks up my name, somebody researches Universal Teas and there's nothing there, they're going to be like, who's this girl y'all told us about? Who is this person that you're talking about? I don't see anything with their name on it. So what is right in front of me is the planning phase. This is not even the planning phase. I'm out of the planning phase. I'm in the proceed phase. It's like action. What actions are you doing? Are you living like the person that you want to be? Are you living like the person you're called to be? We sometimes see the vision, and maybe this is just me. I just got this. This word just came to me. We see the vision and we feel like somehow we're already there. It's like, yeah, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to be this. I know I'm going to be rich and famous. I know I'm going to be a wife one day. But how you going to get there and you don't do the work now? And you're not properly and consistent enough with the work that you need to do to become that. Right? Just because you see the vision clearly, yes, it is possible with work. Y'all ain't read the fine print when it comes to vision and destiny. It is yours when you work for it. Don't forget the middleman. Don't forget the action. Be for real. Are you acting like the person that deserves that vision? God gave you the vision. He ain't going to come down here and put in the work for you. That's all on you. Be for real. And it's okay if you're not. We sometimes try to shy away from what is real because we're living in the fantasy already. Like we're mentally and subconsciously living in the dream that we have. But you have to wake up and make it a reality. Believe me, I'm an avid dreamer. I got the word tattooed on my finger. You know what I mean? Dreams are just I was going to say dreams are navigation systems, but I don't know if that's true. But dreams just show us what's possible. Dreams just show us what we're capable of achieving, but achievement comes with action. And so when you are thinking about what you want to become, you have to come out of the dream and you have to do the work to get there, if that makes sense. Like, let's just say, and I feel like I talked about Martin Luther King last time, but, you know, you can never talk about Martin Luther King enough, right? So when he had his dream, he saw something. You know what I mean? But dreaming and wishing, like, you can't just wish for your dreams to come true. You got to make it come true. You got to wake up and put it into action until it comes into fruition. You know what I'm saying? But because what they say, nothing comes to a dreamer but sleep. You have to be a dreamer and then be about the action to get there. The dream just shows you what's possible. The action is what gets you there. And we can't be afraid to mess up. We can't be afraid to be judged. You gotta take on the actions of your dreams like you're the only one in it, because you are. You're the only one that know what you're trying to get to. So if this dream you know is only for you, why are you so worried about who's going to accept it? All that you know is you got to do it. Okay? Be for real. Is this your dream? Be for real about if it's actually your dream. Sometimes we are trying to live out dreams that aren't even ours. Be for real. Is that your dream? Is that your mama dream? Is that your dream or is that your granny dream? You know what I mean? I think about things it's small. Well, that's having kids isn't small. But I think about having kids. Like, is it your dream to be a wife and a mom, or is that society's dream for you? Is that your family's dream for you? You know what I'm saying? Is it your dream to do a certain thing just because you're skilled at it? Or is that somebody else putting their dreams on you? You have to remember, too, that we're always projecting. So be for real about if the dream is even yours. Wow. I think I might get into that next week about how do we determine if a dream is really ours. I'm going to talk about that next week. Y'all just help me figure out next week's episode. So next week we're going to talk about how do we know that a dream is ours, because we are always being influenced. I just talked about the subconscious is always recording, is always on. But how do we get certain about if the dream is really ours or if it's just a projection of what people have placed on us? That's good. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that next week. And until then, I want y'all to actually be for real about where you are. Be for real about who you are, even if it's ugly. You know what I'm saying? Even if you be trying to manipulate people, even if you be lying for no reason, even if you it's your fault that your relationship failed, even if you the reason that the relationship, even if you the reason the relationship failed or whatever the case may be for real. Also be for real about your gifts and talents. You was smart, you was kind, you was loyal, like Viola said on that movie. That can also be true. You can have things that are a mess, but also be brilliant. You're brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous, like Marianne Williams said in my favorite poem, My Deepest Fear. You know what I'm saying? You're still a child of God. You still have gifts and talents and light. You still have a light inside of you. You know what I'm saying? No matter how dark it gets, but it's your job to tap into that light. You know? We never forget what we actually are good at. I've seen so many people, and maybe you've been one of those people who are in a bad situation or bad to their standard, and they can say like, but back in my day, I used to love writing stories. But just because you live in a project, the project, somehow you feel like that can no longer be a part of who you are. Before I had kids, I used to love going skating. I was a skater. Before I had kids, I did this. Before I got married, I did this. All of those things still exist for you. You are the only one. Be for real. You're the one who convinced yourself that is no longer a part of you. Stop counting out what is positive about you. Stop counting out what God put inside of you from the day you were born that still exists. Go back and get it. And if it's not that skill or talent, and this is something that I'm realizing about myself. If you know me, y'all know dance is life, right? That was in my bio on Facebook at one point. It was probably on my MySpace. Dance is life, you know, and I'm not dancing right now, but what I'm realizing is what I got from dance. The mindset that I got, the skills that I got. You know what I mean? The traits that I developed because of it are still a part of me. And that's what I have to tap into. I could get down on myself about not being a dancer anymore. I'm not going to say I'm not a dancer anymore. I just haven't been dancing. But I could get down on myself about that. But everything that I learned from that long period of time in my life still exists within me. If you're a parent, we love to say, like, before I had kids, or if I didn't have kids, I would probably still be making clothes. I would still think about what you developed internally from those things. Tap into that first. Tap into that first and really believe that it can become what you want it to be. You can't be afraid of the pivot. Maybe that's another episode. Don't be afraid of the pivot. But be for real about who you are at your core. Just as you can say, like, I'm not good at something, You have another thing that you're brilliant at. But you have to believe that, because nobody is going to feel how you feel about your situation. Some people can have empathy for you, but nobody's truly going to feel in their core how you feel about you. So that's why you have to be for real. People are going to love and encourage and support you, but until you believe it, until you are for real about what it is that you want, about what it is that is you, and I'm talking about the positive. We gonna work through this year for the acknowledging and being aware of the difficult things about ourselves. But I never want us to forget to be for real about what is positive within us. We all have a light. We all have a gift. We all have a talent. Okay? So with that being said, thank you all for joining me on another episode of Universal Teas, the People's Podcast. I will be right back here next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the video if you are listening. Make sure you leave a review or a comment. And I will see y'all next time.